All right, tax season is here, and for some people, of course, it can just be sort of a pain, but for others, it can fill you with dread. Well, we're hoping to ease some of that concern and answer some of your questions today. We're joined by Lawrence Levy, CEO and founder of Levy & Associates, to tell us what we need to know before filing, especially if you have, let's say, an antagonistic relationship with the IRS. You know, some folks, they fear filing, so they try to avoid it, and they just don't file.
We see that quite a bit. We see people who haven't filed their taxes in years. It could be 3 years, it could be 10 years. Business owners that have a sales tax issue, they haven't filed their paid sales tax or withholding tax, or if you're an individual, a lawyer, a doctor, an electrician, the line worker at one of the local auto companies. Doesn't matter what profession you're in, individuals or businesses, if you own your own company, there's resolutions that exist, and we always like to try and get the word out there. It is tax season, as you said, and if you have a tax problem, what can you do?
What's the first thing someone should do if they're like, okay, I have a stack of notices here from the IRS, I haven't even opened them because I'm afraid? What do you do? You
should call a professional. Certainly call someone who specializes in IRS or state tax problems. You don't need the lawyer. You don't need the CPA, you need someone who specializes in tax problems. It's a very niche type industry, and in our office we have the former IRS revenue officers. In fact, a guy locally here that was in Pontiac for over 30 years, his name's Greg Mahaffey, he used to work at the IRS. He's on the Levy team now. You want people like that have that background to help you out. A lot of clients say they have a stack of letters, but I'll give you a couple examples.
Okay.
We just had a local, right here in Michigan, a restaurant that owed the IRS sales tax and the state of Michigan sales tax and withholding tax over $58,000, and he settled for $1,000. Michigan just came out a few years ago with an offer and compromise program, and it's a tremendous vehicle, but people don't know. So on interviews like this, we like to get the word out that if there's a tax problem, there's a way to resolve it. Another example, a sophisticated, smart, intelligent, well-educated, a lawyer, no less, and I'm married to one.
Right, so the person should know better.
Person should know better, but circumstances dictate that you have a problem. The lawyer owed over $250,000 and was able to settle for under $20,000.
So someone at home hears this and go, okay, well, those are businesses. I'm an individual. The IRS or the state of Michigan won't do that with me.
Absolutely not. That lawyer was an individual one, but I want to be very clear that everyone does not qualify for an offer and compromise. Whether it's a Michigan offer and compromise or an IRS offer and compromise, you have to fit the criteria, but the stacks of letters won't go away by themselves. And what happens eventually, before we went on the air, we were talking about it, my last name. The state uses it, the IRS uses it, they will levy. They will levy your paycheck, your wages.
Take their money.
They will levy your bank account. If it's a business, they will levy receivables. Before it gets to my last name, the word is be proactive. You want to always be proactive. Don't bury your head in the sand. There's options that exist. And as opposed to an offer and compromise, another option is a payment plan. If you can afford to pay, we'll set you up on a payment plan. Also, what about the penalties people say? You owe the IRS, you owe the state of Michigan, can we get rid of penalties? It can't just be because you and I happen to have blue suits on today and we have a matching tie, we both got that email from your producer. It has to be a reason that meets the IRS or the state of Michigan, what's called reasonable cause criteria.
But the first thing to do is to call a professional.
Absolutely.
Where are you guys based?
We're in Southfield, been around officially since the 60s. I took over about 20 years ago. My father founded it, God rest his soul. So we thank everything to him eventually, but ultimately there's resolutions that exist, whether it is an offer and compromise or whether it is a payment plan, it can be fixed, just deal with it face on.
Lawrence Levy, CEO of Levy & Associates, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
If you guys need help, get help.